how you doing today, Morgan?
Hello, CJ. Hi. Thanks so much for having me on.
Hey, thank you for coming on. So, Morgan, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Ooh, I have spent the last almost 26 years in the tax world. I am a nerd. I'm a tax nerd, business nerd, number nerd. And if I can be so bold as to just jump in about this amazing summit we've got planned.
Yeah,
Yes?
yeah, yeah. Tell
All
us
right.
about it.
So, one common thread that I've seen with all of my clients is that they're very good at what they do, whether it is working on cars, creating food in an environment for a restaurant, running a daycare, running an IT company. But they have no idea how to do the business aspect, right?
Mhm.
Everybody is very honed in on their skill, but when you are a business owner, you not only have to be excellent at your skill, but you also have all these other things that you have to manage: networking and client retention and finances. And it can be very overwhelming. And during my career, I've gone to a lot of conventions and summits and conferences, and you sit there for 2 days and you may attend 12 to 16 different components of people talking to you, right? But how much of that is something that you actually absorb that is actually relevant to you? And at the end of a 2-day summit, you walk out and you say, okay, well, I have like two or three tips and tricks that I can implement in my business that apply to me that can help me. And I was like, well, that's 2 days really wasted. So I'm a thinker and, usually wake up in the middle of the night with ideas popping in my head. And I thought about this like top 5 idea, right? How do you have a business summit that's short, right? Kind of rapid fire idea where you have experts from a bunch of different industries sharing 5 tips and tricks that you can implement right away that help your business and keep it short, right? So each presenter for our Essential Business Insight Summit has 10 minutes. And in that 10 minutes, they have 5 tips or tricks that each business owner that crosses industries, right? That they can implement right away to help their business. It was like, boom, rapid fire, holy cow, business, like 5-star tips, things that you can take your business from here to here, right? How to elevate, how to have insight into all these areas that as business owners, we may not be exposed to because we're specialized in one area. So, in creating this summit, it was like, how do we find the best industries to pull our presenters from? And how do we get them to share 5 bits of insight that's not like, fluffy that anybody can think of? I'm talking digging deep and really helping people. Like we have an expense expert who's going to show you how to not switch vendors, but beat your vendors up to give you the best price possible, right?
Yeah, no.
I'm going to be talking about what to do when the IRS and states throw you a curveball and how to be a step ahead with things with your taxes. So, changing strategy with how you make tax deposits, making sure that your workers are classified properly. Because the difference between paying somebody as a contractor and paying them as a W 2 employee, there's a huge difference between the two. And what's the benefit on each one? And when should you classify them as one over the other?
Mm.
So for my part of it, my 10 minutes, I'm going to be going over those 2 things plus a couple of other big tips and tricks that people can immediately implement. Go back to your business and say, okay, for the workers, for example, do I have them classified properly and in the best way possible for my business? Because it's really important. The IRS and state can audit you. And if you have them improperly classified, it will cost you up to 100% in just a penalty being levied for
Mm.
unpaid tax. So, big things that we're going to be sharing that everybody can evaluate in their business, at least for my part, for the tax part, right?
Mhm.
But I know we have a client relationship expert waiting to chat with us. Do you want to bring Jen on?
Jen is already on. But before we go
Hey,
there, Maury, let me ask you one question. You brought this
you
up,
bet.
but give us a little insight on this curveball. What what's one thing entrepreneurs need to misunderstand about those curveballs?
Oh, first and foremost, never give the IRS or states more power over you than they deserve. There are a lot of people that will get a notice from the IRS or the state and their heart starts pounding, right? And they start sweating and they get scared and they don't know what to do. It's just like any other bill or any other notice that you get. You just have to open it, read it, figure out what they're trying to say is the concern, and face it head on. It's not like we're kids getting called to the principal's office anymore. Don't think of it that way,
Mhm.
right? Keep your power when you're dealing with the IRS or the state.
Mm. Okay. So Jen, is she ready? Hey, how you doing there, Jen?
I'm good. How are you?
Glad to have you on. We always need a financial advisor. Hey, so Jen, welcome to the show. Tell us a little bit
Hi.
about yourself.
I am from Utah. I have four amazing children and single mom, just running the business life. I love it. And I own a business called Organized Joy. We help transform homes and help people find peace and clarity.
Mm. So Jen, your role in the business summit, having a financial plan and optimal app advisors in everything. Tell us a little bit about your role in the business summit.
Oh, Jen's going to actually be talking about the building blocks of client relationships and
Oh,
how
that's
to
right.
have unbroken client relationships.
Okay. Tell us about that, Jen.
Yeah, so a few years ago, I actually was at a seminar and they said, we want you to speak on relationships because we believe you have more level four relationships than anyone we know. And I actually thought about that, and I didn't realize that everyone wasn't doing these specific things in their business and in their life. So, for example, when you go in and talk to a client, I would come out and write everything that they told me about their family, about their kids, their passions. Those are always the first things that we start with because people want to feel seen. They want to feel safe. They want to be respected and they want to know that you care about them way more than the invoice. And that is so, so important. And then taking those another step further and implementing all of that information that they give you um, later on. So when you talk to them later, you're bringing up tips about things that they talked about. Hey, how are your five kids? Hey, how was Yellowstone with your family? All of those things are what I believe has helped me to connect with friends, clients, and just random people I just met more than anything else ever has.
Mm.
That's actually how we met.
Is that how we met?
Uh, Jen and I met at a networking event, and it she really stood out to me because the first question she asked me was, "What are you passionate about? What is your one thing that drives you?" And it caught me off guard. I had to stop and say, "Well, I'm a tax nerd." And she said, "Yeah, yeah, yeah. But what is your passion? Like, what do you like?" And that broke down a barrier at this networking event where I automatically felt like this is somebody who's interested in me, not just somebody who wants my business card, but she wants to get to know me.
Mm. Yeah,
Yes,
and that's cool.
which is what everybody wants, right? It also
Right.
helps your trust increase, you stand out in a crowded market, and that's where you get clients referring you. We get most of our clients from referrals, and it's because we are going that extra step and we're paying attention.
Yeah. You know what? And I apologize. I had you confused with the other Jen because I couldn't pronounce her whole name, so I just put Jen. So
You're
I
good.
got you.
No big deal.
Let me ask you a question, Jennifer. Let me
Yes.
ask you a question. Part of the session that you're on, you're focusing on the building blocks of unbreakable client connection. Why do you think client experience is a competitive edge business still underestimated?
Oh my gosh, because people crave authenticity. People don't know, nobody knows what's real or fake nowadays. You have
Mm,
AI and you have all these different things, right? And that human connection will never go away.
mm,
People want that. And they want to, like I said, be seen. They want to know they're a real person, not just a transaction. And there are so many different ways to be able to show that are simple and easy. And I'm so excited that when we do this event in June, to be able to share all the different things that I do that are so simple and you can add to your business so easily. And I highly recommend it.
I like that. I like that. Can't wait to hear you speak. Although I can't wait to hear Elizabeth because she got that social marketing skill thing going on, and I need that in my life. But before I let you go, Jennifer, let me just ask you one more question.
Yes.
If someone's leading if someone's leading a growing team or managing benefits internally, what's one key takeaway that they'll gain from attending your session?
Oh my gosh. There is no greater resource in life than having real connections. It
Mm,
is the number one key. And there's so many different easy ways to do it. You just listen. It's about listening. It's not about speaking, it's about listening and gathering information. And I have a thing called the joy notes where you write down anything that you hear about that person. So you can easily type in their name and everything they've ever told you, their passions, their family, what they love. And you document those later on, 6 months later. I tell you right now, 6 months later, you pull up those documents and you pull up their name and it'll tell you every single thing that they told you. And it said that they loved, a certain candy bar, whatever it is, or a certain flower. And you out of the blue send that flower to them. I'm telling you right now, that is the key to lasting relationships and connections and referrals.
I like that. Jennifer, it sounds like to me that you are a walking database. So, is it anything else that you would like to add before I bring Elizabeth on?
I'm just excited to share all these different tips and tricks because they work, and I'm willing to share everything and anything I know because I want everyone else to succeed.
Yeah, and like I told Morgan, I thank you guys for coming on and showing us how to do things the right way. Thank you for coming on, Jennifer.
You're welcome.
All righty. Elizabeth, the
Hello.
marketing and business growth strategies. How you doing today?
I'm doing great. Thank you for having us on here. I'm so
Uh,
excited.
Thank you. Like I said, thank you, and Morgan and the team for allowing me to be a part of this with you guys. I'm so excited about it. So, Elizabeth, let me ask you, as a co-host and strategist behind the scenes, what was the vision for this Essential Business Insight Summit when you helped shape it?
Yeah, so I think what Morgan and I were looking to do was what are the steps and the tips and the tricks that people aren't being told typically at these summits? Like, not the fluffy information that makes your head spin, but what are some actionable tips that you could walk away with and implement in your business right now to actually make a difference? And that's really where all of this started.
So let me ask you another question. You speaking on 5 missteps you're making with social media, which I can't wait to hear, and how to fix them.
Yeah.
And I need to know this today so I can go implement this as soon as I get off this call with you guys. What's one silent killer on social that's holding businesses back from scaling?
Absolutely. So focusing on vanity markers instead of actual connection. So some
Mm,
people get really stuck on like how many followers do you have on Instagram, which can be great for building your following, building up some like viewing yourself as an expert in your field. But ultimately, connection is number one, and that's where I would love to speak on Facebook groups and how I see so many business owners who are not utilizing Facebook groups to their, like, effectively into their highest capacity.
So when you say Facebook groups, are you saying groups that you create or just joining groups as a community period?
Just joining a community. That's the beauty. Like, you don't have to create anything new. You can start from literally zero, have 0 followers across the board, but join these super active Facebook groups and create connection and networking and community where you can get referrals. I'm telling you, within a week. I've had clients who go into these Facebook groups and start getting referrals within just a few days.
That sounds pretty cool. I only have one more question for you. Why should entrepreneurs or solopreneurs, digital creators, and brick mortar owners alike tune into this summit? Like, what's in it for each of them on each level?
So everybody, any small business owner who joins the summit is going to walk away with actionable tips in multiple categories that are going to apply to their business. Again, something they can implement literally today. Morgan's incredible. All of the speakers are incredible. And we know that this is something that's going to make a massive impact in their business.
Okay. I can't wait. Hey, I don't know about you all, CJ Moneyway listeners. I don't know about you, but you better go get your ticket because your boy got his. And I can't wait to hear these fantastic women and men on the panel. Hey, so Morgan, help us out a little bit to the other Jen or Sean come along. You got to keep us going with this business summit.
You bet. As Jennifer and Elizabeth shared with you, there are so many simple things that you can implement in your business to help you grow today, to help you take positive steps today. And that's where the inspiration again for this summit came from. I only know as a business owner the world that I've been exposed to, right? And when I started my business, I didn't have somebody who was experienced in social media that I could turn to and say, is what I'm doing working? I mean, I've got followers like Elizabeth just shared. There's vanity numbers to what we do. But is that really going to convert to clients? Is that going to convert to referrals? And when I actually started working with Elizabeth about 7-8 months ago. And before that, I had a team member within our tax world going online and posting things about taxes, about deadlines coming up. Don't forget, you need to get all your records to your accountant because you've got to file your tax return in 8 weeks. And it would get likes, maybe once in a while a comment. And Elizabeth said, you're posting, which is good, but you're not investing into your communities. Like she was just sharing about Facebook groups. You can't just go in and post from your world. You need to post strategically to get engagement. And she has helped through her tutoring me. She has elevated our social media game from probably 10 views per post to over 300. And just within a few short months. And it's because I've taken her instruction and implemented it.
She said something not too long ago, about the likes and things of that nature. And like you said, I had especially on LinkedIn. And, they say that's the platform to get your, business associates. And as we're talking about networking and things of that nature. So I had a young lady reach out to me and, she started building my profile on LinkedIn and things of that nature. And like you say, I was getting likes and this and that. But me personally, I'm like, I feel like I'm paying too much money to just be getting likes and, and comments or whatever. I'm like, Elizabeth, when we gonna start scaling? I'm like, I'm not doing it for the likes and, whatever. But as with you, and when Elizabeth came in, and that's what I'm looking for, and I'm hoping it's going to fall in my lap one day too. I know my lane. You got to know your lane. And certain things are not, your lane. And so I'm glad you all coming on this summit that these are your lanes, and you're giving us information based on where you came from and your expertise. And so I can't wait for it to happen. And I'm telling you right now, you guys better listen and go back to me and Morgan's first podcast where we talked about where she ate peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. So here's a lady that you may see her right now, golden lion tax solution and sitting on top of the world business summits and everything, but she had to go through some things to get to where she is. And so you need to take a listen to what this inspiring young lady has to say. Keep us going, Morgan. What else about the business summit?
What our mission is for in 10 minutes, each of our presenters to give you insight into each of their areas of expertise. I can't think of any other business summit or convention that has allowed us to share so much pointed information in such a short period of time. Like I said, who has 2 days to go sit in a convention hall and listen to people just sit there and gab. Each presenter's an hour. Oh my gosh, you have to get up and go to the restroom. You got to go get coffee. I mean, this is going to be less than 2 hours where you're not going to want to get away from the computer because so much pointed information is being shared. And that's really the mission behind this.
I'm feeling it. I'm liking it. So you see us right now. I got my notebook, got my pen.
Well, I'm so glad you have your ticket. Let me tell you about a few of the other topics that we're going to be sharing. Okay.
Go ahead.
So we have somebody who's going to be speaking about accountability within your organization. And the title of Curtis's is Without Accountability, I Feel Like I'm Going in Circles. Have you ever sat down with a notebook and said, okay, in the next few weeks, next few months, I want to get X, Y, and Z accomplished, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then a month later, you're like, oh yeah, whatever happened with that notebook? Whatever happened with that list of stuff that I said I wanted to get done, but I never did? So he's going to be talking about simple systems that you can implement that will keep you on top of your own accountability so you can achieve more, right? We have another one. Sean, he's going to be joining us in just a little bit, talking about networking that actually works, taking relationships from one night stands to lifelong partnerships. And Sean is one heck of a guy. He is the guy that you were talking about that's ex-SWAT.
Yeah.
And just military mindset. And you know those guys, they're all about strategy, right? So he created strategy to implement into the business world with networking. So when he walks into a room, he won't know anybody. But within an hour, he has effectively worked the room, and he's going to share his tips and tricks to do this and leave with not just business cards, right? But actual connections with people where they follow up and they pursue the relationship starting the next day and moving on. We also have somebody Dan Mullen, who is a CPA, and he is going to share insights into how to look poor to the IRS, but rich to an underwriter. Right? Because a lot of business owners, we run into funding issues from time to time. Let's say you want to scale your business, right? But you don't want to put yourself in a position where on your tax return, it looks like you're making $250,000 a year, but you need to look like you've got money so you can get the lending, right? So he's going to talk about that fine balance between looking poor to the tax agencies, but rich to an underwriter. Let's see what else. We have Elizabeth. We talked about the 5 missteps we're making in social media. I have Lori Denham, who is going to talk about breaking bad cycles with financial record keeping and internal bookkeeping. She has been in the bookkeeping world for over 30 years, and she's going to be sharing a lot of missteps she's seen other people make with their business records and how to fix it so that you are on top of your game financially. You need to do that because how do you know if you're being successful? How do you know if you're making money? How do you know if you're profitable on jobs that you're doing? Right? A lot of contractors, you have to look at your profitability per job. But if you don't have your records in line, you have no idea if you are or not. So, those are just some of the great topics that we've got coming up in this summit. Great people, a lot of energy, quick, rapid fire suggestions.
Man, sound like you all had the all the bases covered. And you know, Morgan, you were speaking about Sean, and he came in backstage, and this look on his face, he kind of like got me a little nervous over it. It got me a little scared. I'm gonna bring him on, you know, knowing that he got that military and SWAT team capabilities. I ain't gonna mess with Sean too much. I'm gonna bring him on real quick. But before I do, everyone, the Business Summit, but also go out there and pick up my girl book. You know what I'm saying? That's my girl Morgan right there, Morgan Anderson. Go pick up her book. I love that cover right there. My Laker cup. So let me bring. I saw him, then he left. I was about to bring him on. Oh, there you go. No. I'm gonna catch him before he leave this time. I'm gonna bring him in before he dump on us this time.
Hey,
what up, Sean?
Hey, how you guys doing?
I'm all right, man. Welcome to the show, man. Welcome to the show.
Hey, glad to be here.
I was telling them before you guys came on, I was talking to Morgan and Elizabeth earlier, and I did an interview with a guy named Terry Tucker yesterday, and he was a SWAT. He was on a SWAT team. And so we joked about, you know, Shamar Moore and them. You know, I was asking him how it is, and we talked. And he said he was a negotiator. So I'm like, oh, Kevin Spacey and Samuel Jackson. So we joked about it. And so I'm like, man, I say, how often do you meet a SWAT team member? You know, I say, you don't get that every day. And then Elizabeth sent me your profile yesterday. I'm like, wow, I get 2 of them in 2 days, man.
That's actually pretty funny. That's great. That's great.
Let me ask you, Sean, man. Let me bring you into this Essential Business Insight Summit conversation. Networking that actually works, from one night stands to lifelong partnerships. That's you, man.
Yes.
Tell us a little bit about that, man.
Well, that kind of came around because I see so many people that are networking wrong. They're pushing people away, or they're asking too much, and they just are not building these long-term relationships. And so my process, it's just like dating. When you see that really attractive person, you don't just run up to them and say, hey, can I give you a kiss, or just kiss them. You got to do a few things first. You got to ease them along this process. And it's the same way when we're networking. It's the kind of based on the 12 steps of intimacy, if you're familiar with that. And basically they found if you miss any more than 2 of those steps, the relationship is going to be a one-night stand rather than a long-term relationship. And that same thing holds true in networking. So in networking, it's shifting that mindset from a transactional relationship to a lifelong friend and partnership. So that's what we're looking to create with my marketing or networking process.
I like that, man. You can't go all the way just straight in, brothers, man. You got
That's right.
You got to court a little bit. You got to court.
Yeah, that's
go
right.
Straight in for the gusto, man. You go get turned down. I got another man on here now. You know, we can have man talk, man. You know what I'm saying?
That's okay. I can hang.
So, Sean, man, let me ask you. I got to ask you this, man, because I know that this had a lot to do to be the man that you are today. As a former SWAT commander, how has your high performance mindset shaped how you teach entrepreneurs to avoid burnout and stay?
That is a great question. And the biggest thing I teach with that is just like I'm also a former military. The thing that we do really well in the military is we are laser focused on our objective, whatever that is. One thing we have, we have an operation order that's basically how an operation is going to play out. It could be 500 pages, but there's one paragraph inside that 500 pages that's the commander's intent. It's the one thing that we're trying to accomplish. If everything else falls apart, I want you to do one thing. And so in business, what is that one thing? What is the thing you're trying to accomplish? Why are you trying to accomplish it? And if you can get refocused on that, and maybe you need to do some kind of pivot. Maybe there's what you're doing it for no longer resonates. And so you maybe need to figure that out and do some kind of pivot. Like maybe you don't need to quit, you need to pivot, but just getting clear about what that objective is that you're trying to accomplish.
I like that, man. I had to pivot a lot in my life, man, even in this. So let me ask you, Sean, man, before we go, what are the biggest financial planning mistakes you see high chief? You know what? That ain't you, Sean. So, Sean, just give us a little bit more, man, about you. Because you know what, man, I ain't gonna blame Elizabeth, but when I was getting all these things in, I kind of put some things behind because I was trying to, add them in there at the time. So that's on me. I didn't add them right. So, Sean,
yeah,
man,
you're totally good.
Tell us a little bit more about one key thing that you're going to be talking about at the summit, man, that we can get a little insight on today.
Yeah, absolutely. So if you saw Hacksaw Ridge, that's about the Medal of Honor recipient that he went and behind enemy lines and kept saving people. And I don't know whatever religious thing you are, but one thing that he did that resonated with me is that every time he went out, he just prayed and said, God, let me save just one more. So I like to encourage my clients to start the day with that attitude. Like, let me help one person. And if you have this attitude that, business is about service. You want to make money, find a way to help people. You want to make a lot of money, find a way to help a lot of people. So just that mindset of how can I give, how can I serve my clients, people, and that mindset going into networking makes all the difference in the world. Instead of going to an event trying to, hey, I can help you with this. I need this. I need this. Instead, saying to the person, what do you need? What can I help you with? And just find out and have that service-minded approach to networking.
Right. I like it. I was telling Morgan before we all came on that I appreciate what you guys do as far as individually as well as collective. Just taking what you got and taking the skills and the talents that you all have and not only keeping it for yourself, but being a servant to others to help others get these strategies and mindsets, man. So I really appreciate you guys. Elizabeth, I'm sorry. I'm back on course now. Let me ask you one more question. Sean, you said something about this earlier, man. You blend military precision with emotional intelligence. How does those seemingly opposed skills work together in building lasting business relationships?
That's a great question. The best way I can describe it is like one time this was a training exercise, clearing a building, and the person, the enemy, the practice enemy shot, and the bullets went right past me. They were simunitions, so fake bullets, still very painful. I have scars from them, but those bullets came across, and I was so present and so relaxed that I just adjusted, and I was able to fire and put 2 bullets right in their face mask. And if I had panicked or got excited or got stressed, I would not have been able to act in that way. And it's the same thing in business. I'm reading a book right now on the mindset of the top traders in the world. And they said, basically, when you go to make a trade, whether it's $25,000 or $25 million, when you go to hit that last keystroke, you should be totally at peace. Your heart should not be racing. You have done all the work leading up to this. And so whatever happens, it's just data. You're going to learn from it, whether you win, whether you lose. And you're going to have your things in place so you get out of it if it gets out of, if it doesn't do what you predict. But the key is to just be present, to be relaxed, and to be able to have that, to control that emotional response. Because if it's a good response, if you're like jumping up and down every time you do a good deal, that's going to affect your next deal. You're going to be maybe too excited. Like, oh man, I've got the gold finger. I'm just going to make all kinds of money. So you start making mistakes. But then if you get broken because a deal went bad and you're so sad, you're going to be hesitant and you're going to miss out on opportunities. So it's that, I call it a warrior mindset, being able to be calm and peaceful in that moment of whatever it is, that moment of adrenaline, the big deal, the firefight, whatever you're in, being able to stay calm and have that confident peace is going to help you to perform at your best and make the best decisions.
I like that. But before I let you go, Sean, man, I gotta bring you back to this point that you made before you went on to the business aspect of it. You said that they fired some shots at you and you kept your composure and you put 2 where?
Right between the eyes.
Man, see, that's why I was telling Terry yesterday, man, I don't want you people coming around my house, man. That's why I didn't do nothing to get in that situation, man. I did not want to see Shamon Moornell or Sean or Terry Tucker coming to my house. I don't want to negotiate, man. But no, man, I enjoyed you, man. Thank you for sharing that. Can't wait to see you at the summit. So,
all right, thanks.
The other Jen finally did show up. Okay, now I think I'm on the right path because I think I got her set up now. She's the financial planner, huh? Okay, I think I got it now. Apologies to Elizabeth. I didn't mean to throw no pun at you, Elizabeth. So let me bring Jen on. How you doing today, Jen?
Hi, how are you?
Hi.
All right, yourself.
Thanks for having me. I'm so thrilled that Morgan put this business summit together. I think bringing all the experts together for a really knock 'em dead, get more information than you could possibly dream of in less than 2 hours is going to be spectacular. So thank you, Morgan, for the brainchild of this great idea.
I'm so excited about it. We've been talking about a common theme through our conversation has been how we use our specialties, and we really go into being in service to business owners through this summit by sharing 5 tips and tricks from each of our areas of expertise. And being able to do that, it gives me goosebumps.
Yeah, it's cool. I'm glad that you put it together. I'm glad you brought all these experts in, and I'm glad to be a part of it. I truly am. So let me ask you, Jen. Let me ask you. I know I'm at. What are the biggest financial planning mistakes you see high achieving women professionals make, and how can they correct themselves in this course?
That's an excellent question. And I think it depends a lot on where the women are in their career. But the one overarching theme that I see happen a lot is just failing to have a plan, right? They wait till they're making that 300,000, 400,000. They're making a lot of money and they're not having a plan around it. And all of a sudden life happens. And so I get a lot of women that all of a sudden there's a death, there's a divorce, somebody died, the business needs to be sold, there's a sickness. And before you know it, the train has left the station and there's no plan to manage the train when it gets to the end, right? So that's the biggest mistake I see. It's just sitting down and bringing your resources together, which is why Morgan and, we work so well together with clients because we want everybody to have the tax specialist, the estate planning specialist, right? For your wills and your trusts, your other specialists, mortgage, insurance. It all works together like this if you have a coordination of experts. If you don't have the coordination of experts, you're leaving money on the table. You've got holes in your bucket, right? You don't know what's going on. You're losing tax dollars. So just having that coordinated team, so to speak, is the biggest mistake I see over and over again.
Because Jen, I gotta have it all. I want it. I want it. I don't want to leave no money on the table. First, I got to get some. But once I get it, I don't want to leave none on the table, Jen. So I'm
Says
with you
the
on
man
that.
who is just rubbing elbows with a Lakers writer, right?
He's
working his way
hey,
up the chain.
You gotta grind. You gotta grind. Hey, I told you I want to be like Golden Lions Tax Solution. I'm telling you, I want to be worldwide. So, and I coordinate a summit and bring y'all on my summit. So let me ask you, Jen, how do you guide clients in assembling the right team of advisors as you were just talking about, and why is choosing optimal advisor just as important as the plan itself?
Okay, another great question, CJ. I don't know who's giving you these questions, but you're right on target. So here's what's happening in our field, right? We know the world is changing, and it's changing really, really fast. So the old way of financial planning that maybe your parents or grandparents did is not going to function for Gen X and Z and all the millennials coming along. So what they need to look at is, what are their goals, right? Have somebody discuss their goals. How much do you need to save every year? How much should you be spending? Do you have an emergency bucket, right? Who's talking to you about your emergency bucket? Does anybody talk about that, right? How much house is enough house? And if you like real estate, can you buy a house and then maybe use some of the equity in that real estate to buy a second house, a third or fourth? A lot of people are looking for passive income. So it's not just your business, it's can you bring in real estate? So, I kind of look at it this way. Your hand has 5 fingers. And you should have 5 different types of investments going on at all times. Maybe one of them is real estate. Maybe them is some kind of passive income, other business association. But there's also your portfolio. Is it in the market, and is it driving income inside the investment? So when you retire, you have multiple buckets creating multiple income streams. That's not that difficult for an advisor, for a team of advisors. It's really hard for an individual that doesn't even know where to start. So that's something to think of. Marinate on that, right? There's a lot.
You're right. I'm marinating on that, because here's my next question to Morgan. Morgan, what number is Jen in the lineup on?
Oh my goodness, we haven't assigned the order yet. We're working on that right now.
Well, let me know,
because every single person is going to be amazing, so you don't want to miss a single one.
See,
why are you trying to skip over me to get to her?
Because at first I thought I wanted to listen to Morgan more. Then I say, Elizabeth got some great ideas. And then I'm like, okay, I got to listen to Sean, because if not, I don't want them people coming to my house. And then now Jen talking about emergency bucket. You right, Jen. Don't nobody talk about no emergency bucket. We trying to get the bucket. Hey, but she talking about emergency bucket. I need me one of those. Is it red or blue? Or it don't matter?
It really doesn't matter as long as there's no holes in the bottom of the bucket.
You know what? I don't want no red or blue one. I take that line back. I want a green one, because that's what I want to put in there. And I ain't talking about no vegetables. Hey, so I just got one more question for you, Jen. For women balancing family, careers, and entrepreneurship, what's one actionable step they can take today to improve cash flow without sacrificing long-term goals? Don't ask me who gave me that question, because I know it's another good one. I saved all the good ones for you.
Yeah, it's going to come down to budgeting. Watch your budget and your spend, right? And I teach my kids, I teach people this all the time. Do you need to go shopping and buy that, 58th pair of shoes? Or, are you watching the sales? Are you, when you're buying your vacation, are you just putting all the vacation money out there? I had a doctor spend $58,000 on one vacation. I don't think she had a budget for the vacation. Wow. And she came back and she was apologizing to me that she spent that much and she knows she overspent. But I thought, start with the budget. Know what you need to spend so that the little extra pennies, can go towards your rainy day that we talked about, the emergency bucket and your retirement bucket, right? Don't not have a budget for everything, for school, for, shopping, for even your food budget. Some people go out to dinner, they eat out 4 or 5 times a week. Why? You're not going to have money left over at the end of the day. So even if you're really wealthy, you should have some kind of idea what your spend is and what your budget is. And then you're going to feel better. Don't spend $10,000 a year on Starbucks. Come on, people. That's excessive.
Man.
So
I like that. So Morgan, you tell Jen I said, wherever that dock is, I'm taking my emergency bucket over there. You know what I'm saying? Because it look like she got a lot of money to burn. You know what I'm saying? I need some of that in my emergency bucket. Let's keep it going. Hey, Jen, I appreciate you coming on, sharing your insights today. Hey, Morgan, take us on out.
All right. So June 11th, 11 a.m. Mountain It's going to be live. You're going to have 2 hours of rapid fire, top notch. I mean, listen to these speakers that were here.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Top notch people sharing tips and tricks that you can't afford to not implement right away.
Yeah, we're gonna get it out here right away. I'm gonna send Elizabeth this video when we get off, and you can do whatever you want to, and I'm gonna do the same. Podcast may not be out until the beginning of the month, but we can start putting out these clips right now, and so that people can get an inside track of what's going on at this Essential Business Insight Summit 2025, June 11th. What time again? 11 o'clock Mountain
11
time.
a.m.
Right?
Mountain. Yes.
So let me ask you, I haven't looked at time. So what time is that my time? 9 o'clock? What time is it where you at now?
So right now we are almost 4 o'clock.
Oh, you're 4 o'clock. Okay, I'm 6 o'clock.